Hi everyone, I'm now speaking to the maestro, Dan, who has made correct predictions for the last two tests, but I think he's going to struggle with this one. It's lovely to see you, Dan. You're looking good. And what are your reactions from last week? And lead us into to Saturday, the big day's test.
Well, last week was an exceptional test by the Springboks, especially the second half when they stamped their authority. They gave the Lions a working over in the scrums, and that's where it all came from. I didn't expect the score to be that big, but I think the feeling that I had that the Springboks were smarting and they would fight back, and they would fight back hard. It did happen. You know, obviously we had the whole Retief video, which caused a lot of bitterness in the series, which was unfortunate. But I believe that Retief felt it had to be done. And he was able to list 22 different things that had gone wrong. And hence we saw a test match that had a 64-minute half, which I don't know whether rugby wants to go there. So now we get to this last test. I see the travelling British press, the Red Rave. They're talking about a poisonous atmosphere, and everybody's blaming each other. So there is that as a backdrop. It's unfortunate, but it is there. And it's the decider. The winner takes it all. I should write a song about that. Anyway, but this one is particularly difficult to call. I don't think you can say because the Springboks were so impressive they'll do it again. The Lions have got good players. They'll be hurting. They've got to go home now, and they know it's all or nothing. You know, so. Both teams have made changes. Ours a little bit worrying. We're losing Pieter-Steph du Toit. We're losing Faf de Klerk. You know, have been key players all along, especially Pieter-Steph. But so Mostert, a lock normally, will play flank. But he's got a big engine. You know, he'll run all day. Reinach, who now comes into the scrum half, is a tremendous player. He, funny enough, played with Pollard at Montpellier. So it's a combination that we know. And then Russie's kept his changes to the minimum. He's picked this tremendously big pack. The risk, of course, there's no lock on the bench, but obviously they can move Mostert around. And then the Lions, they've picked, to me, a strange test. You know, they're clearly worried by our front row because they've changed their front row again. And Gatland has picked another centre partnership. You know, so that's 3 tests, 3 partnerships. So I think he is a little bit wary of Lukanya and Damien Delendi's immense defence. He doesn't know what to do about that. But again, he's experimenting. But the Lions' selection for me is quite strange because there is a belief that they should run at us, that they should try and play around the wide, play around outside. We've always been vulnerable to that, but they haven't quite picked a side to go for that. You know, and there's an old saying about they semi-pregnant. So I would have done it better. You know, if you're going to run, you've got to pick a running side. My view of that is that I don't think their forwards can play a running game. Their forwards are big and strong and solid like us. They're not really accustomed to a running game, so they also don't want the ball out wide all the time. You know, so I'm sure he's trying to temper it. There's another aspect now: is what effect will the French referee have? So we go to Mathieu Reynal, who's a French referee, and watching him in action in the European tournaments, the French is laissez-faire. You know, they allow people in the side of the malls, they allow people off their feet. So could he have a big effect? You know, Kitch Christie always used to say the trouble with French referees is that they blow only 10 laws. Your problem is you have to work out which 10. So Reynal could have an effect on the game, although he's been with O'Keefe and Nick Berry for this whole period. So now, that all said, and it looks like I'm trying to avoid the prediction.
Yeah.
I'm not. My feeling is that I think the Lions are homesick. They've been in a foreign country. They haven't had a proper tour. A lot of them have not had a lot of game time, which normally affects the spirit in the team. I think they sort of not in a good place. It's quite a prediction to make. Whereas our team, I think, are going to be exceptionally determined. They're going to play to prove that they're the world champions. So, a prediction: it'll be close, it'll be tight, it'll probably be furious, but the Springboks will edge it.
Thank you, Dan. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think everybody looks forward to this report. Cheers, my friend. Bye-bye.
Thank you.